Mr. Chairman, committee. We've had a long day already, so I'll keep this kind of brief, at least try to. I'm 72 years old, and yes, I'm in favor of Bill 1536. I think that this process has ruined many people in this state. Yes, it's ruined our practices. There were 14 orthodontists and 300 employees in 6 different offices in the state, and we were asked to open these offices for Medicaid purposes. I was retired when I was asked. Today, if we listen to the OIG, we state that there's $550 million out there that has been fraudulently gathered by all these different orthodontists. And I want to state very clearly that $53 million of that is because they feel that 100% of the Medicaid that I've billed out over the last 5 years, I owe back because none of those patients were medically necessary. The HLD score sheet was filled out according to exactly the way the gentleman hired by the state, NHIC, told us how to do this, and it has been done that way ever since the beginning 10, 12 years ago. I think that's the case of almost every orthodontist in the state, or most of them, have followed the Medicaid, the head of Medicaid, the doctor that was in charge of the Medicaid dental. How he told you to score it is exactly the way we did it. And as this gentleman has just now said, Dr. Nazari, there was nothing added. We did not say that they needed treatment. We simply said that according to the HLD index, and because of the way it was told us how to interpret that these patients had 26 points. The HLD index was brought into contention, or brought into existence, in 1947 by Dr. Draker. If you go back and read the original article, he said that you cannot put ectopic eruption into the scenario, because if you did, everybody would be approved. Yet, the HLD index originally then did not have ectopic eruption. It was subsequently revised in 1967 by Dr. Parker in California. Both of these gentlemen were public health dentists, and they were both hired by the government to come up with a tool that could sit there and indicate what was a medical necessity. The way the state inculcated ectopic eruption into the scenario, and the way the medical director told us how to score 26 points then, and the ectopic eruption was part of that 26 points. So, I think it's safe to say that the credible allegation of fraud in our particular case, and in most, comes directly because of the HLD scores. And I think that it's safe to say that only after the first judge in the first case, and the only case that's gone to court, after she said that there was no way in the world that you could have credible evidence from an HLD score that it was too subjective. And when you have, in our particular case, 2 of the state's expert witnesses goes through the cases that they've got, and they come up with as much as 20 points difference. The experts, their own experts, have gone through, graded these cases, and they have 20 points difference. I think it's very subjective. And like the judge said, how could you call an HLD index something that's fraudulent when if you have 10 doctors look at it, you could have 20, 30 points difference, and yet you're saying that that is what is a medical necessity. You've heard so much else from everybody else. I'm simply here to say that from what I've heard today here, sometimes I really wonder what state I'm really in today, because this is not the way I've been treated. I've been treated like a criminal. In the papers, from information that definitely has come, they call me fraud. They tell all my patients that it's fraud. They have labeled us crooks. I practiced for 43 years. I have a daughter that's 43 years old, first year of ortho. Graduated in the top 5 of her class last year. Do you think she's going to do orthodontics for Medicaid for patients in the future? Do you think any of her classmates are going to? I have a 39-year-old, 38-year-old daughter that's a junior in dental school, and all of her friends know about it. And they're all sitting there saying, who wants to be in Medicaid? There is no due process. I was brought into this on the 13th of February of last year. We asked for an immediate hearing, not an informal hearing, because at the informal hearing you just get told, well, you owe this money, pay us. We wanted a formal hearing with formal charges that we could sit there and defend against. And that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened at all. At the stakeholders meetings, it was brought up earlier, but I want everybody to understand that the HLD scoring and these scores, we had many patients that scores of less than 26 that were approved. And when you write to them or when you call them up and you say, this patient has 2 points, as an example, 2 points, and we have recommended no treatment, and you say, oh no, you have to treat that patient. It's a Medicaid patient, you have to treat it because we've approved it. 2 points. We have three emails back and forth showing that they refused to recount that, and then we treated it. And then as soon as they came in, they demanded that we paid the money back, that we got paid for that, even though we didn't want to treat it in the first place, but they told us we had to treat the case. It's not fair. I feel that our constitutional rights as citizens of the United States are in jeopardy. And I feel that we've got to have some way to be able to get to a district court if we get discriminated against, and if we have these outlandish fees thrown out at us, when in reality, I have treated Medicaid patients for 9 years only out of 43, never treated a Medicaid patient before they came and asked me to do it, and I feel embarrassed to tell people that this is America. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer them, but I appreciate your time, and I know that it's been a long day.